No. What is going on, guys and gals and four-legged lovers? We are all here gathered today for this wonderful Horse Talk Live.
Sounds like you're starting a sermon. We gather here
We're
today.
gathered here today to work these ponies. So we have some videos for video review. Remember, for years now, we go and once a week, we do our very best to stop in and help the folks who are helping us.
Since 2018.
So, since 2018. The hard thing out, it doesn't sound that long ago, but 2018 is a long time ago.
5 years. 5 years every Wednesday. When have you had a free Wednesday?
That's a great question. Especially when I try to rope. Hey, from PA. So, every Wednesday, we normally get on here and we do our video reviews for the past 5 years, which rounds up to the better part of a decade. And we are just, hey, I went to school. We are just here to help you. So many folks feel like they're so far from success, and they're one adjustment, one move of the hand, one bridle change, one system change. And we are able to help that by doing these video reviews. So tonight we are going to do somewhat of a mixer. The mixer is going to be, we're going to do video review and Q&A at the same time. So we're going to knock out some of these videos. So you guys who are not in the membership and normally don't get your videos reviewed, you can kind of see what that looks like, see how in detail we get, see how easy it is to get your video reviewed. Some people are a little shy to send in videos of themselves, but I'm telling you, it's so easy. So many times, folks just need to drop their hands a little bit, or tighten up the curb chain a little bit, or move their leg back a little bit, and voila, it's fixed. And that saves you a clinic trip. It saves you sending your horse off to training. It saves you money, time, and effort just by having some expert eyes watching you.
What'd you do this week?
Sometimes I feel like someone's watching me.
Because you're on the screen.
No? Okay, yeah. What did I do this week? I had a little stud colt try to eat me up today. Sometimes you get those little stud colts and they really think they're head honcho. He was a trifecta. He tried to nip me a little bit, tried to strike in my facey a little bit, try to give me a little kickeroni. But we worked it all out. We sorted it out, if you will. The key.
What grade level? Kindergarten?
No. Everything was fine. Everything was fine until something touched his butt. If something touched the butt, I mean, he got real offended. Yeah, he was not a fan of the butt touching. Something touched his butt. He was like, he was like Jet Li, Jackie Chan. And then whenever you insisted, then he was like, okay, I'm a ninja. But it's okay. I survived. He survived. It's all going to work out well. He's going to work out to be a calm, easy individual.
Did you touch his butt with a flag stick, a pool noodle,
all the things,
everything?
All the things. Oh, you don't like your butt touched?
I'm gonna touch your butt.
Yeah, we are not in human society. We are in horse society. That's what I'll be doing. This is the concept. This is the concept. If you want a well-broke, do anything you want, go anywhere you want type horse, if you guys would just do the opposite. It's the latest word from my daughter. She says opposite.
She means opposite. She means octopus, but
opposite. If you just do the opposite of what your horse wants to do for 30 days straight, they want to go fast, go slow. If they want to go slow, go fast. If they want to go straight, turn. If they want to turn, go straight. If they don't like water, go for a swim. Just on and on. They don't like their back legs touch their back legs. They don't want to be hosed down, hose them down. Whatever it is, they don't want to be tied because they're impatient. Tie them and leave them tied. If you just do the opposite very quickly, you will have a yes, sir, yes, ma'am type of horse, a little trooper that will be game. So much of horse trainers to understand that we're all horse trainers. Anybody who comes in contact with a horse is a horse trainer. So many of these times when these horses get uncomfortable and they show us that they're uncomfortable, it makes us uncomfortable, which in turn gives them a release. And when it does that, they learn, anytime I don't like something, I just throw a fit. It's very, very similar to raising a youngin'. My youngin', she's like walking the line, okay, like Johnny Cash. She's like that. She's starting to get bossy, and she's like, yeah. Oh, whoa. No. We're not going to do that because she's starting to get like a horse. She's trying to she is trying to wang her way into the things that she wants. And now when somebody tells her no, she cries for a second. And when they don't give, she goes to the next trainer, which I've seen horses do that. They'll do it for you. And then the next student or trainer you put on, they try them again. That's what my daughter's doing. She'll hear no from somebody. No, I can't have the marker. No, I can't have the cookie. She'll go to somebody else and ask. Horses do the same thing. Pressure and release
And
people.
who's the pushover trainer that gives the horse the cookie when they're being bad?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm the disciplinarian.
With our daughter?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Dad. Tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
Tough dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's like.
Don't mind me and my sipping on my coffee cup.
All right. I'm really struggling with the canter now. I'm so sick. Some virus. So not able to work with her until I'm better. I'm sorry to hear that. Don't worry. The canter will come to you. The more you practice, the better you'll be. So many people, and I hear this a lot, especially in the gated community. Oh, my horse doesn't canter too well. Well, we haven't practiced cantering a lot. People think that quarter horses canter well. They do not. Well-practiced quarter horses canter well. For every one quarter horse that I have that lopes around quietly on loose rein, I will show you 50. They come to training, they come to clinics that suck at cantering. They can't pick up the proper lead. They just blast off. They're all off balance. Their nose is all in the air. They're bouncing you. How do you deal with biting? Great question. I just was dealing with that. The key to biting is allow them, put yourself in a position where you could pressure them and they can't pressure you. So it's all about spacing. So it's either outside of that bubble from in front of them or I'm beside them. Today, in this case, I stuck to that colt's shoulder. He was trying to eat my lunch. He was trying to bite me and kick me. So I just hung with his shoulder. The kicks couldn't get to me. The bites couldn't get to me. And I could keep touching him. So he didn't get a release by trying to be aggressive. I feel it so much right now. I struggle to work with the horses I did work with right now. All right, babe. Are you reading?
What can I help you with?
You're supposed to be reading questions.
Oh, I can do that for you. I got you. You said you were mixing it up. I wasn't sure which direction you wanted to go.
We're going to check until the next
I got you.
questions come in. We are going to check the videos. Oh, wait. How do I get here?
You need a tech guru?
Yeah.
We got to add it to the screen. There we go. Add it to the stage and then put it here.
Very nice.
There you go.
All right. Wondering about going on draw reins.
Going back to draw reins.
Let's see what she's got going on. Roxy working on her step over and backing. So whenever they're Coke bottling like that, which means they're moving their shoulders and their butt at the same time, all that means is we need to add a little bit more forward to it. Bring the outside leg back up under your hip. Nice. So anytime that you guys are worried about that backhand movement, two things. Bring that leg back to block that back end. And the next thing, make sure you're adding. There we go. Very nice, very nice, very nice. That's it.
Linda had asked, they can bite you when you were at the shoulder, though, can't they? They can't strike you from there.
For horses that are biting at the shoulder, those reach around nips, they're very deterrable. The bites that break you, the bites that you should be worried about are the bites that the horse leaps and launches forward with all their body weight.
Hopefully you guys never have to worry about that caliber of biter.
Those biters are the ones that pull muscles out of skin, that break traps, that pull out pecs, that break collarbones and shoulders. Those are the bites that really do serious injury. Those reach around nips, if you get nipped by that, really it's just a lack of paying attention.
And that elbow is really going to help you, especially
Yeah,
if you're
you throw-
in by the shoulder. For
Yeah,
sure.
anything you do, since it's such a weak bite, any little throw up of the elbow or bonk in the head with a palm is going to deter it. So we're not too worried about those reach around bites.
Well, the elbow kind of keeps them out away from your love handles and all the other things, and it kind of gives them
Nice.
too.
That's what we want to see right there, Miss Patty. Whenever you feel the sweep that you want to sweep, let's drive her out of that. Put 2 legs and drive her forward, because you're halfway getting what you want, and then sometimes we're standing there a little bit long, a little bit long until she does the wrong thing and she's getting released on the wrong thing.
Another question we had from Miss Ruby. She says, "Is it too late to teach a 17-year-old horse how to neck rein?" Absolutely not.
It's never too late to teach a horse how to neck rein. As long as the horse is soft and open to instruction, anytime you can teach a horse how to neck rein. Miss Lori and Grace, neck rein.
Some of these videos are from last week too. We had a tech issue, so you're going to see some of the ones that we were supposed to do last week also. Lori says, when I'm free lunging, she wears me out trying to get her to canter. She just wants to speed up into largo. When I'm riding her, she turns off with a kick. She doesn't do too bad counterclockwise, but when she goes clockwise, she turns to the outside. And when we get speed, she feels like she might be going out from underneath me. I didn't video it, but I felt like she's leaning a lot into it, like a barrel horse going around a barrel. Without looking at a video, what do you think is happening here?
Quite frankly, I think we have a horse that hasn't cantered a lot, and a lot of horses that have a lot of life experience without cantering, especially our gaited horses. Sometimes we need to get out and about. You might need a bigger space to canter her in the beginning so she can find her stride, especially if she's barely finding it one way and then the other way she's like almost losing her balance and so uncomfortable. Those are the horses that like big open straight stretches, because when you're going straight, they're able to keep their balance a lot easier.
Power of a circle helps a lot too, if you can go back and watch that video.
Yeah, power of the circle helps a lot as well. But for the gaited horses that just want to speed up, but they're not breaking into that canter, really open straight stretches where they can really cover some ground. You don't want to say gallop, but that's really it. A lot of standardbreds, a lot of Tennessee Walkers, a lot of horses that I've worked like that, you have to gallop before you can canter because they won't pick it up. They just want to, standardbreds want to trot or pace. Your gaited horses just want to gait faster. And a lot of times, if you can gallop, you do that a couple times in a nice straight stretch that's pretty safe. Then let them relax, gallop, let them relax, gallop, let them relax. Now they're breaking into that cadence. The gallop cadence is the canter cadence. It's just sped up. Now they're giving it to you earlier and earlier. And when you can do that, now you're finding that canter.
We're not there yet. We've got a question when you get to Emerson's video.
Yeah.
I've got another one when you get to Judy's video that I'll ask you as well. But as far as new questions,
your neck reining is looking good. I like how whenever you're turning, you're not bringing your hand way out of line of her neck. That hand and neck shouldn't go more than 2-4 inches. When you go further than that and you really try to pull them around, what ends up happening is they turn their head the wrong way. So I love the fact that you're using mostly your legs for this neck reining. Doing a little leg yielding. Nice. Looking good. Like how free that horse is moving there, breaking that shoulder out, giving her face and her hip. Awesome. So if you notice, our leg gills were pretty shoulder heavy, and we like to have a good bend in them. if you ever went to a show and they asked for a leg yield, we would have to straighten it up. At home, I don't straighten up the leg yields because I really want those horses breaking loose like that and being real soft and easy through the shoulders. But as if you got competitive with it and went to a show, understand whenever they ask for a leg yield, they want the same diagonal motion, but they want a little bit of a straighter horse. Again, the way you did it is the exact way that I do it at the house when I'm training horses. The same thing here with the side pass. When I teach a side pass, I like to teach a shoulder heavy side pass because the horses learn exactly where to put. See how they're reaching over front and back foot, or reaching over, reaching over, reaching over. That really allows the horse to know where they're going to place their feet so that the day they really completely straighten up, there's no confusion. See how she knows exactly where to place her feet? Well, that's because the way that you're teaching her how to side pass is letting her be a little shoulder heavy, letting her move those feet and really covering some ground. All right, technically that is three tracking, but normally whenever they're talking about three tracking, instead of pushing the shoulders over, they are looking to push the hip over.
Any more you want to add to Lori?
And Lori, everything looked good that way. Now the next thing is, if you are trying to three track, remember it's pushing the hip over versus pushing the shoulder over. Technically, you're correct. It is a three track, but when anybody tells you in the industry, hey, three track, they're talking about pushing the hip over, preparing for lead changes, preparing for lead departures.
All right. So next we have Melissa and Chip trying to correct his not wanting to go and Buddy sourness / sassiness. He is in a snaffle bit with a roller, very similar to a lot of the miler bits that you'll see us use.
Looks pretty and green up there.
We have a question from Melissa, but we did have a comment from her compared to last week.
All right, Miss Melissa. Now, not that you're doing anything wrong per se, but if I'm going through just like this and the horse kind of goes a little sideways, I'm going to try to keep my eyes up where I'm trying to go and keep trying to keep him on track. I don't want him to think that every time that he moves his head a little bit or does something that we're going to shut him down, because then he's going to want to shut down.
He said, since this video last week, Chip and I are doing a lot better. I am not good at submitting videos and questions, but I do listen to you and the others, and all the questions that get answered, then I implement them.
Way to get out of it by moving them off one way and the other.
She appreciates everybody for the help and encouragement.
All right, getting a little flex in here. There we go. If a horse ever gives you a straight line back up, you take their butt from them and then release them. There we go. So go right to the release from there. There we go. Let's get that release and let's let go some. Let's give him some of his face. Judging by the way that you're flexing him around, he's looking pretty soft. So giving him a little bit more freedom to roam, a little bit more looseness in the rein, where he's not so confined, might help some. There we go. Try to exhale on that walk and pop your lower back out and sit like you're sitting in a lazy boy. You have beautiful posture in this video. But beautiful posture says gait for me, but your hands say walk for me. So I want your
Because you're
body
looking for
and your
signs.
message to match each other. So as we're walking, sit like you're sitting on a lazy boy, pop out your lower back. If we're nervous, we don't have to be relaxed, but our body has to say that we're relaxed. So even in a tense tight situation, you'll see me completely exhale, let my body get soft and loose. Whenever we get uptight in our back, see how erect your back is, how straight you are. That gives energy. You see the horse carrying his head kind of high. He's saying, "Okay, you're sitting in show posture. Now I'm going to give you show posture right back." And he's picking that head up. He has kind of a flat back. He has a big chest carrying his head high. The opposite of that would be to exhale, lower our hands. Nice. Good back up crooked.
We're working on shoulder
Good
yields
job,
to
Miss
help get her more collected.
All right, Miss Mosley, you're on the right track. That is looking good. I would suggest two things. Try to make sure your body matches what you want. I love your posture. You look so pretty. Like if I was going to draw an outline of how it should look in the show ring, that is just it. So when you want gait and you want forward, I want you to sit just like you're sitting. But then when you want walk and you want flat, I want you to flatten out first. What that means is I want you to sit like you don't have any bones, like a sack of potatoes. I want you to pop out your lower back, relax like you're in a lazy boy chair, like you're sitting on a Harley. Your hands, I can tell by looking at your hands what you're asking of him, but your hands and your body aren't matching. So what my horse is doing when I'm looking at him and I'm looking at what he's doing, he's walking, but he's walking like all postured up, like he's ready to gate off. I believe if you relax your body, he'll relax his body and you'll get that flatness in the walk. Plus, whenever you pick up, he'll be willing to go. Whenever you pick up and you ask him to go, don't be afraid to give him a little rein, to give him a little looseness. You've shown me multiple times that you have the softness, that you're aware and you're flexible, you're back and crooked, so you'll be able to stop him if there was an issue. If you do those couple things, you're going to be off to the races.
And everybody's on here supporting her. Barb and Linda. Awesome.
So that's the other cool thing, guys. Whenever you get on this club, whenever you're on this membership, there is a whole team of people, not just ourselves and not just the staff here, but there is a whole bunch of like-minded individuals who are going to be representing. And
they're like real people. Like real people. Like we can name them and their horses and their past horses and their future horses and get this network of people that didn't know they were friends but are now. Hi, Cindy.
Whoop, whoop.
Not your Cindy. Another Cindy.
Whoop, whoop. All right, Miss Barb. Working power of the circle. There we go. They said you can name my future horse.
Who can name? What? Don't tell me with a good time.
Booger.
It says Facebook user. Who is that?
Booger. Buck.
No booger. No buck.
Bolt.
No. No buck. No bolt. No hi-ho silver.
I'm trying to think of some of the worst names that I've written. Wicked. Who's the worst name?
Maneater.
Tyson.
What was the name of that saddlebred?
Face kicker.
Face kicker. Like, oh, that's intriguing. Couldn't you just wrote something nice on the contract and not
When flexing her to the right, she has a tendency to tilt the nose to the left and not really give.
Yeah, I'm running a Diablo.
Did you hear Barb's question?
Yes.
Or are you too busy thinking about?
I'm thinking about horrible names. I rode a horse named Mother.
Insert.
Oh, I rode a horse named Mofo.
You want a lot on a horse named Mofo.
I won a lot on Mofo. So you got the right thing, Miss Barb. Is if that horse not giving you that nose, you just pull in a tight circle and say, hey, you're not getting out of this tight circle unless you give me your face to the side. And you're not really caring about where you're tracking. You're caring about the bend. And when that becomes the priority, the horse's only way to get out of that circle is to give you their face. So you're absolutely right. Your instinct there is on point. You're going to break them off to the side, keep them in a small circle. And the only way out of the circle is to give their face a move. Robert said bone breaker.
Yeah. I think man eater and face kicker take the cake, though.
I don't know. I had nip. Oh, flipper. Yeah.
Flipper.
Oh, yeah. I had flipper.
Focus.
We've been out of the arena and on the trails. We're now working on disengaging the hindquarters, spirals, and one-sided flexing. She seems to be really stiff. She's turning, but I don't think she's really giving me her face.
If you feel like the horse is giving their butt but not giving their face, don't be afraid to open and close that hand, and move those knots across her nose until they use that friction. So if you feel like they're just kind of sort of giving their head and neck, bump, 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 bump. And when I say bump, it's not really a bump. It's a slide. You're sliding those knots across their nose and looking for that friction to make them look the direction you want them to look so you can find the release. Very nice. Getting softer and easier.
Okay. You want to multitask? I'll throw you in.
Let's multitask. I'm good at that, honey.
Oh, this person says I worked with a guy whose horse was named Cockroach, Alpo Joe, and Termite.
That's all better than
Flipper
good. Or
that's pretty good.
Bite. No,
Okay.
nip.
I still want to know who wants me to name their future.
Oh,
horse.
Striker.
Striker.
Yeah, I work the Striker.
I've ridden a horse named R, which I imagine is ASSSSSSSS. Let's see. Miss Lori, in addition to what she was talking about earlier with her cantering, she says we have a hay field that I could work in for the canter. It's much bigger than our arena. I was told by a friend to set up a temporary fence in the corners of the field, and when I get to the fences, do rollbacks and then canter off to the next fence, do rollbacks, canter off, etc. They said this would slow her canter down. Do you think this would work, or because she's hot would just make her go faster because she gets worked up to try to canter if she would run around the field? I'm afraid.
So quite frankly, whenever we don't have a canter, the key is to get the canter first, then worry about
We're
how
working
fast
on the downshifting using the advanced backing, and I think
whenever we're working on a canter on a horse that has no canter, the key is to get the canter first. We can't care how the canter is or the quality of the canter or the speed of the canter until we canter. The same holds true in colt starting, the same holds true whenever we have a lifelong gaited horse that's never been cantered and we're trying to canter them. We have to canter first. So in this case, the rollbacks are great, and the idea of one day slowing down the canter is great. But first, we just have to get her to the point when we kiss, she canters. And I don't want those little teenage love kisses, those pecks, those no. I want those French kisses, them long ones. You know what I mean? The ones that you get in trouble for. Those long kisses, the reason they're important is because it's one kiss to the moment they canter. Whenever you're pecking, your timing is not as good as a person that holds one long kiss. In the moment that they pick up their front end and they canter, you release. That's so much better. So that's what we're really going to look to do. We're going to look to, the moment we get one stride, we're going to release. The next time you're just going to pucker up and she's going to canter off. But we've got to figure that out first. You and her both have to believe you know what you're looking for before you start trying to slow it down, before you start trying to control a shoulder, before you start trying to control balance. My baby.
You say goodnight. You
All
want to
right.
say goodbye to everybody?
So somebody's going to say,
She hasn't been on my lap lately.
look at the baby. Say
You
hi.
He wave.
You're famous now.
Can you
Say
say
Wave.
hi.
Wave. Good job.
Can daddy get a kiss? Kiss, kiss. No, me. Kiss, kiss, kiss.
She's blowing kisses to everybody else.
Oh,
Are you
my
gonna get
love.
it? She says, I want
Yeah,
that
give
mouth.
mama a
kiss.
I love you.
okay.
Good night,
You gotta go
baby.
tonight. Night, night.
Night. Night.
Love you,
I
honey.
love you.
Say love you.
Good
Love you
job,
too.
baby.
All right, boss ladies here. Okay, back to the canter. We have to get canter before we can get a good canter. Before we have to suck at something before we can get good at it. So many of us were trying to fix the leads and fix the speed and fix the balance and fix the shoulder before the horse can just canter. So if you have an open field, that is great. Just give her face and kiss to her until she does something that looks like a canter or a gallop. And then just ride it out. Just relax. Don't add any pressure. Carry that for a while. And a little span without adding too much attention to it. Break her back down. That gives you another opportunity to ask her again. Break it back down. Ask her again. Every time you do that, she's going to find the cadence easier. She's going to figure out what you're asking for easier. But we have to be one-track minded and have one thing on our mind. That is the key to this. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. The key to my success is I am a simpleton. I only do one thing at a time. I can only focus on one thing at a time. It drives my wife a little crazy because she would like me to focus on about 5 things at a time. But that's not how it works. I focus on one thing at a time. They have to canter. From there, they're going to canter easier. They're going to find it faster. They're going to become more balanced with it. The next thing is they're going to be more relaxed cantering because they just cantered off 15 times. So the 16th time, believe me, it's going to be a lot more relaxed than the first time. They're going to find it easier. They're going to know where the release is. That brings relief to any horse. Once you can find it in that straight line and it's coming easier and faster and easier and faster, then you can bring it back to your arena and she knows what kissing means. When you say the word canter and you kiss like a French woman, she is going to be off cantering around and she's going to know what it means. So it's going to make her a lot more relaxed. Then from there, we can worry about balance. We can worry about slowness. Next question.
Okay.
Got a good one.
Let's see. Miss Rhonda says, hi, Michael and Kelsey. I am currently working on the lay down. They do their head pretty well. I then ask them to bring their back legs up by tapping on the belly. Next, I have to ask to pick up the left front by tapping lightly on it. When they pick up their foot, they usually bring it forward. I think I'm confusing them. Any great advice?
Yes, I'm not too much. I don't concern myself too much with the back legs. I find that horses do that more once they find the lay down. They'll bring those back legs forward. I worry about one leg at a time. Go right back to simpleton again. I drop the head. I look for them to drop the head and hold their front left leg up. And then once they get like a pointer dog, anytime I switch levels and I drop down and with the crop, they'll become a pointer dog. They'll drop their head and they'll pick up a left leg. Well, now there's only one leg holding them, and that's the right leg. And I will tap them right behind the knee, which will make them buckle, and I'll release on the buckle. Well, very quickly, if there's no legs holding them, they're going to bow. Well, if every time they bow or break downward, I release. Every time they stand tall, I go to tapping. Every time they bow, I release. No horse can hold the bow. From the bow comes the lay down. But you have to get them to the place where they bow nicely.
Would you like another question or we go back to the video?
I have a foxtrotter mare that wants to pace down a steep hill instead of walk. The pace, even a slow pace, is not secure for a steep decline. How do I get her to walk diagonal instead of pacing? Miss Jan. What I would suggest is if it's like a trail where you have a little space, if you could get her in a C shape, if you can get her to leg yield, shoulder yield from one side to the other, doing those things is really going to make it very difficult for her to pace. Pace is because she's getting downhill and she's trying to lock up. If you can get those shoulders out a little bit, that's going to make it a lot easier. Again, we're still talking about the steepness. If it's crazy steep where you're Man from Snowy River steep, sometimes you get in a place where you just got to give them their head and let them do what comes natural to them. But if we're just talking about a decline, you can move their shoulders over and give them a C shape. Also, same thing, you can drop their head, which makes it harder for them to pace. Both of these scenarios are declines, not steep where we're sitting over their butt and we're sliding down a hill. In that scenario, if that's what they're most comfortable at, you might want to give it to them. But if it's anywhere where you can have some control and some body control, those are the two ways that are going to be the easiest for you to break that pace. Okay, I think I got it now. If I can get the courage to do it, if only I were younger. When I was younger, I rode without fear, but I will try. I believe in you. You've got this.
Well, and
I've seen what you can do.
And remember too that you've done the background and the homework to have your horse soft and know that if any reason you need it, you can disengage. When you know that you have that kind of softness, you start losing that fear of what can happen because you know that you have that emergency go-to if you need it for any reason. Start giving them more of that freedom, more of that repetition. The longer the stretch.
Still using the reins a little too much, and he has a tendency to go sideways when we start backing.
The longer that straight stretch can be, where you don't have to think about turning, you don't have to think about crashing into something, you don't have to think about
the only thing you have to think about is cannon.
It's just go. That in itself too is going to be able to help you out a lot to get that confidence up.
And yes, you'll be going faster than what you're accustomed to, but also you'll be going in a straight line where you don't have to balance too much, or you don't have to worry about the corners or the horse slipping or their feet coming out from under him. It's really nice just to go in a straight line. I have a fence line from my barn to my mother's house, and anytime I get usually a big gated horse that's never cantered, that the person wants canter work.
He just wants to pace 900 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's just like falling apart in the arena. I just take them out to the straight line, and I've done that, I don't know, 50 times or 80 times with different horses that just could not find it in the arena. Not even my big arena, they couldn't find it. And I have a pretty big arena. They couldn't find it there. They could find it in a straight line. All right, back to Miss Barb. Let's answer these questions. Let's help these horses. Dang it, I missed her
introduction because you were having it talk over me.
It's peaceful. All right, next up is Miss Barb on Jean.
Was there even an introduction, or you knew who she was on?
We're working on the downshifting using the advanced backing, and I think I'm still using the reins a little too much, and he has a tendency to go sideways when we start backing.
All right, so we have really, this past couple weeks, we had a Western Pleasure trainer in, and we have worked a lot on our downshifting. We worked a lot on our spur stops. We've worked a lot on really just getting those horses slowing up. Perfect. Look at that. She went from forward to backwards. So right there, that's raining all day. The transition from forward to backwards, very nice work. All right, now listen though. Whenever I go from forward to backwards, I don't immediately go off again. Stacey Westall told me this, I either hang out the length of my favorite song, or I change directions to move off again. But I don't allow them to just back up and then move forward, because I want them to be dead to the world when I back up. Just stand there, completely motor turned off. big release. Because if they think they're just going to come out of the backup and go right back forward again, that kind of removes the point and the purpose of all that backing. Now it's more like kind of like a slingshot. So you see how you went from the backup and now we're going forward again? That's kind of like slingshotting them. Let's back up, back up, back up. If he turns on you, no big deal. Pick up the rein. If he moved off to the right there, pick up the left rein and straighten it up. Get a little rear. Oh my goodness. He's going to have to get grounded.
I laugh for you. Sad joke. It was supposed to be funny, right?
All right, so for me, I would use the reins and just absolutely just back him up, hands and feet, back him up and stop letting him go forward. Back him up and find you a good stopping point. Right here with this back and forward, there's too much gray in the conversation. See how the second you back, you're right back to forward. I would shut him down. I would shut him down completely and let him relax there. So for reining, whenever we stop in reining, we're using the transmission. We're going from drive to reverse. So we do so much fencing and so much backing here. That's reining work. That is, take our legs off. They better stop and already be backing up. Whenever we do Western pleasure work, whenever we go forward, we will spur stop them, which is with the brake. And you'll feel them slow down, slow down, slow down, stop. Two different things. Right here, we're working on reining, and this horse is kind of stuck. Miss Barb, you got it? I got it. Perfect.
Some barn sour problems he's decided to give me. Right now, all I'm going to do is.
Okay, and we have a question from Judy too. So
Question.
I'm gonna scroll back up real quick. So we talked a little bit since last week, and I was gonna have her send in going through some of the grade levels when he gets in a position like this where he's wanting to shoot backwards with her, to make sure she can still go through the grades.
Perfect. Let's see.
Pull it back up. Hold on one moment.
You got a nice bun.
Thank you. Judy said Zorro is still barn sour from leaving my other gilding at home, but he will easily leave him behind on the trail. Make sure that there's not any others in here that I missed for Miss Judy. And then we will rock and roll. Okay, perfect. Let me back up just a little bit so you can hear.
All right, so let's see what we've got going on here.
That's coming.
Miss Barb has her plan.
Hi, this is Judy. I'm working with Zorro on some barn sour problems he's decided to give me. Right now, all I'm going to do is ask him to ride up the driveway away from the barn.
All right, so let's give point in the direction we're going, but let's give up on all those.
Not get hurt doing so.
All right, so disengage. Pick a direction and bump until he gives his butt.
Up the driveway is that way.
Right, so all we're losing here is whenever he's getting all hot and trot, look how he's straight from his nose to his tail. We've got to break that loose. We've got to get him soft left and right. So right there, when he was kind of going backwards and sideways, we couldn't decide which way we were going to go. And look how he hasn't got bent over his butt in either direction. So that means we just need to stand there and flex and bend. But look how that horse, the whole time he's being buddy sour or barn sour, whatever he wants to call it, look how he's as straight as an arrow. We need to turn our hands sideways, pick a side, left or right, and decide. And say, buddy, you're about to give me your face one way, come hell or high water. And when he gets soft and easy left and right,
The last time I tried this,
you'll be able
I
to take
got
his
up and
butt
just
from him.
walked him away from home and got on him far down the trail to get him to ride away. As you can see,
See right there, he should be flexed up over his hip bone. He should be folded up like a lawn chair and really get those back feet crossing over. As long as he has his butt under him and he's
he used
straight in a square,
always just ride up the road,
square in
down
a
the
straight line,
trails.
he's going to have the ability to say no and really just take you wherever he wants. So we've got, as scary as it is, we've got to get his face over his butt. We've got to get him soft left and right. If not, he's just going to keep dictating. And every time that he melts back, he's getting a release. He's getting a win. So the more he practices this, the better he's going to get at it.
I'm not sure how I fix this, other than walking him away from home. Oh,
So right there, we should put him in a bend and a bind and make him uncomfortable versus him going over there and standing still by his house, by his pasture, and saying, "Oh, this is the comfortable place," and him getting a release, and then he gets more uncomfortable the further he gets away. We got to get him bent right there and start bending and disengaging, and that's really going to make him second guess his life decisions.
boy. Bad boy.
I like the fact that you're trying to
Trying to
pull
look
him
where I
off
wanna
to
go,
the left to the
but
right.
He doesn't believe me.
But you have to overbend him to left to right. You really have to get his back feet crossing. Watch this video back and watch how his back feet are staying in a straight line where he's able to keep his motor forward or backwards, but
This is
they're
a
never
serious
crossing
problem
up.
for us. Of course, he just zapped himself on the fence. But I don't know how to fix this problem. Okay, now I'm just riding Zorro in my pasture, not away from home. Just in the pasture, while his pasture buddy is locked up in a stall.
Behind me.
And it's hot. You can see a lot of the same behaviors. All he wants is to get to the barn.
Watch the footfall when you watch the video. Look at his back feet never crossing. That's what I mean, that some of your behaviors, some of your problems, or we don't have enough control ahead. For me, he starts some shenanigans like this, I'm going to cross his back feet up so fast that he is going to be looking for another answer. Every time we watch here, and that horse you're kind of tipping his nose a little here and there, but that is arguing in a straight line because his back feet are never crossing up. Every time he starts dancing around, I want to grab that joker and bring him out to the side till his back feet start crossing. And then once he's mine, I'm going to start moving his hind end around, making him uncomfortable. And when he tries to get out of that circle to find comfort, that's when I'm going to soften, relax, and release and make him comfortable. Right now, if he just throws a little tantrum like this and moves his feet around, he keeps getting a release. Like right here, he'll get a stand here or there, right around his buddy, right around his barn. And rightfully so, because you're a sane human being who doesn't want to die and doesn't have the answer. But that's how this behavior keeps getting doubled down on, is anytime he comes up with buffoonery around the barn, people release because they don't know what to do with the answer. But the answer is we've got to cross him up. We've got to take his power away from him. Again, watch how much video, how much footage we've watched. And if you go through and watch it again, you'll see that his back feet never crossed up one time. You did bend them off to the side, which is great. But even whenever we say flex them one way or the other, what we really mean is grab his face until his back feet cross up and take his power away from him. Even there, you shut his back up down, and that was without even completely disengaging him. Michael says, have to start on the ground, I think. Definitely not a bad idea. Get back on the ground, go to first grade, get that face and that butt moving. But at the end of the day, it's all the same. Control the head, control the horse. Right now, we don't really have control of his head, so he's kind of dictating what's going on because we're not control of the motor. But you got this. Once you look it back and see it, then it's going to be so obvious to you. All right.
It looks good there.
We're watching Miss Renee, and she is on Clover, a Rocky
I
Mountain.
know, that's why I'm letting you hold her a little past vertical.
She just came back from a show, and her trainer kicked butt out there. They got a bunch of.
Mike. She looked fancy, Renee. She looked fancy. Ace does too, Mike. Ace does too.
Zoomy in. Dun, 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 dun,
Looking
dun, dun.
really good. Both of your horses are looking good. Clover's looking a lot more consistent. I love the curb chain adjustment on Clover. For this guy, that gait is looking so much smoother. So this young lady got his head right where she wants it. Also, she added some weighted shoes. Give a little ankle weights. Pick up that front end a little bit. All it did was throw off the timing. Gating is not more complicated than the back feet landing first. And everything else we do when we're trotting or pacing, both feet are landing at the same time. Right here, his back inside foot is landing first before the front inside leg. She did that through getting him soft in the bridle. And then you see those white shoes on. Those are just little throw-on shoes that add a little weight and help throw off the timing. Very nice work. Working on her long trot. Miss Renee is just like me. She's all kind of confused. We get our gaited horses, and all we want to do is make a Western horse out of them. Just because we can. Just because people tell us we can't. Look at that. Look at that cannon right there. Little Icelandic pony. That's what I'm talking about. Loping around with his head down at the horizontal. Beautiful. Big fast, small slow, right back into the trot. Get our left lead departure, looking good. Looking good. Very nice. All right, let's stop for a second and answer some of these questions.
All right, let me roll back up and see
I have a question reader.
where I stopped at.
Come on, my narrator.
You're welcome. You're what?
Narrator.
Narrator. Okay. Somebody said, I have a question for you guys. Are you accepting open questions? Yes, we are. Please throw it on here. We'd be happy to answer it for you.
What do you have, narrator?
Let's see. Question about Raptor, my 15-month-old. That's a good one too, right? 15-month-old Pasifino colt. I submitted a video of me trying to work with him with a flag stick. He used to take me redneck skiing. I gave him some time off to mature mentally. Well, I tried again, and he did better with taking the flag stick to his nose. But as soon as I try to move from the nose to the neck, he freaks out and takes me skiing. I have been unable to stay with him, so I went back to working from the nose until he calmed down and stopped. I'm at a loss where to go from here.
Gotcha. Hopefully you're working with a halter that he respects. Hopefully it's our halter.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's Michelle.
So we have to get to a place where he respects our line and our pull more than he respects the flag. At the end of the day, it just comes that simple. Think about it like this. Your horse is a dog. Does the dog respect the urge to go eat the neighbor's cat or your leash more? It's just a pattern. The moment the dog respects the leash more than the urge to eat the neighbor's cat, even if you live beside a crazy cat woman like I do.
Hopefully she doesn't watch your lives.
Exactly.
Awkward.
she will stop chasing the cats. It's that simple. So if the horse is still dragging you along, touch him in the nose with it and immediately go to stopping and backing him. Touch him with the nose, immediately stopping and backing him, and put more emphasis on the halter and the lead rope than the flag. That's all it comes down to. I'm telling you, it's just that simple. The day that your horse respects the repercussion more than the fear, you are safe. The day the fear matters more than the repercussion, you are not safe. And it's really just that simple.
And another thing too to think about, I don't know if you've been following the videos of the full series that has been launching out this week for you to be able to see like the little snippets that we're doing on Reels, but having that flat wall is a huge benefit as well. If you have a horse that you ever feel like is dragging you, you can work with them from the beginning from something that's solid like that, that's going to help you if they go to take off. They understand that that lead rope is not going to give. And so when they get in a position where they feel uncomfortable, they think about running and they're like, you know what, I can't pull you because I haven't gotten a win. So right now he's kind of boosted his confidence up because he's been able to get you skiing a couple times. If you can have that conversation somewhere where it kind of ups your physical advantage to not have to sit there and hold his body weight, that'll really help you a lot. And we also have the one exercise that you've seen in a couple of the clinics where you send the horse off and you stop them. So you send them off the direction. You can use your hip, stop, and that will help get them to disengage towards you and look at you. And that lets you use your body weight to help with that versus you're doing that before you're setting them off with the flag stick. So they're already looking. As soon as they get to the end of the lead rope, they want to turn their face and face back up to you. But that should definitely help you with him as well. Sorry, I answered your question.
Good job. Good job. Couldn't answer
Right,
it better
I've been
myself.
there. I've been there. I've been skiing before.
You've been drugged a couple
Not
times?
about that life.
You remember that time we were in Alaska and you were long on that horse?
Mm-hmm.
And you were just wakeboarding behind him. Like you were just 2 feet.
Across the gravel.
2
The
feet.
gravel round pin. It was fine. Was it a fjord? No. That was the rescue Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, she was going long line.
It was fine.
Mosh pony, mosh.
Anytime.
It looked like a sled dog there.
My hands felt like a sled
It
dog.
was great.
Miss Lori said, what if they put their leg down as soon as I tap the right? That would be a lay down question from earlier. What if they put their leg down as soon as I tap so if they have the one foot up and you go to tap the right leg.
Switch
Then
back
they-
and forth. Get that dance. Yeah, that's part of it.
Especially with any of the hotter breeds, works super well. Let's see. Gene was a naughty boy.
Naughty.
Let's see. Trying to make my way through and see what we're missing.
So that's
see what we
something,
got.
that's something interesting too. When you start adding, you're gonna get yourself in a bind. That's okay. As you add things and as you start reining with the horse and you do Western pleasure with the horse and you're laying the horse down and you're asking all these things that the horse has never done, you're bound to ask something that the horse doesn't know. He doesn't know the answer, so he gives you something wonky. Try not to take it personal. Try to say, hey, horse didn't know what to do.
Easier said
He was
than done.
confused. Oh, it's definitely easier said than done. But try not to take it personal and try to say, hey, the horse doesn't know. That's the wrong answer. That little pop-up that is not the right answer, and continue to pressure in a safe way until you get the answer that you are looking for.
All right. Miss Lori said, now that I understand about the cantering, I have a quick question about backing and lateral work. I got Gracie backing well and then started working on side passing and spins. Now, when I ask her to back up with my legs, she'll offer a side and then a spin before giving me the backup. What can I do to make it be more clear to her? She had a good backup. And
Yes.
then when she started adding spins and side passing, now when she goes to ask for the backup with the legs, she starts
Add
giving her
the-
the other things.
Add the fence. So anytime that I have an issue with the backup and the direction of the backup, I go right back to the fence to help straighten it out. It seems to work wonders because it gives them direction. And make sure that you have both legs touching in the backup. A lot of times we're waving the legs and the legs are out here and they're not touching the horse. Here's the body and our legs are saying, hey, back up, but they're out here. And that really gives a lot of space for the horse to turn here, move there, run there. Make sure your legs are touching and close so that you can keep them straight and square. Add the fence. You do those two things, that should really fix it.
Okay. Rebel has developed a bad habit when my kids ride her. When she decides she's done riding, she stops. When the kids kick her to go, she backs up to the spot where we normally untack. She has begun to try this with me, Robin, too. I disengage her hips a couple times, and generally this works to get her going again, but she is still trying this with a little more frequency. What is your advice for solving this issue?
So disengage, but then don't just disengage. Disengage
Pop that hiney.
and start spanking that hiney on the inside where she looks to get out of the circle, where it's her idea to go forward, and then release her and ride soft and allow her to go forward. When she shuts down on you, take her to that bend, touch on that hiney on the inside hip, inside flank, and then completely release and make it her idea. If I've learned anything from being married, hey, it's always better if it's her idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Baby, your ideas are better.
It's a lot of true. Let's see. Scroll through.
Mm-hmm.
Shazam is ready to ride after his fall, but now he won't let anyone mount. You can go back to the come get me trick and or making sure that you can freeze him up. Going back to what, second grade, the freeze
Yes.
up, jump up and down,
Yeah.
combination of that and the come get me trick.
Activate that freeze response. He'll have it strongly embedded in him. If not, just go back to the come get me trick.
Let's see.
Close.
Clover kept stopping at the show and refused to go forward without popping her with my split reins. I had on spurs, but she would stop. Should I use a crop and really pop her? Of course, I can't do that in the show.
Right, that's kind of strange because it seems like you're riding her so good in practice. So I'm not sure what was making her shut down. But definitely, like if you go to a little fun show like that and she shuts down, the schooling is more important than the show.
Just make sure you're out of her face.
Just make sure you're giving her face and you're disengaging her when you're driving her forward, so she's not confusing. You have a horse that has good shutdown stops. I'm really not working on them too much. So if I have a horse that just plants it in the dirt, has a great slide, is giving it to me anytime I try, if you hound on them, they will start getting real sensitive about those stops. Those horses, I'm almost breaking down to a trot, to a walk every time. Like I'm rolling down to a stop, which we never do on horsemanship horses because we stop them like the Grand Canyon's in front of them. But if you have a horse that has a great stop, we are downshifting to it because we're trying to keep them balanced and not have them too stuffy.
Diane said he simply steps away from whoever is trying to get on. I've tried the come get me trick, Calvary knot on front feet, chased him with a mounting block, sandwiched him between a wall and a mounting block. I do groundwork first and he does it easily.
Do groundwork first and he does it easily?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like that's a guru situation right there. It sounds like a fun day.
Send a video of you doing the come get me trick and what you're doing it on and reinforcing that he is going to get his little hiney popped if he tries to move away from you. And you can pop on the saddle, get you a pool noodle. That'll help you be able to reach down on him and really use that to try to freeze him up and get him to stand quiet. Anytime that he moves off, there's pressure. Anytime he doesn't move off and he stands quiet, there's no pressure.
Back to Miss Barb.
You guys have any questions at all about any topic, throw them on here where we will get to them as we go through.
That's it, Miss Barb. Stick with her. That's it. Nice. Nice. So she is reaching out and touching her. This is her older blind mare, and she is showing her how to give the shoulders and look at the bend. Way to be persistent and just reach out and touch her. Great job.
There might be audio on that. No, my hearing thing. I hear footsteps.
Very nice work. So she's reaching out and putting a thumb in her ribs. So this mare is vision impaired.
The first clip is the day before when he was very relaxed. The second clip is what we were doing just prior to the rear.
So this is day one with Gene. Gene is a 20-year-old saddlebred that we rehabbed a couple years ago to make him a riding horse, kind of get him. He was a little spastic thing. That cantering looks lovely. You're very welcome, Miss Lori. Kick your toes out and your feet forward a little bit where they are touching that front cinch, right under those armpits. And I believe you had a rear here, but there's a lot of gray in this conversation right here. So let's just try to. Good save. Good save. Nice way to fix it. Now let's try to go right back to our backup. Let's keep our frame small and let's do it from a stop. Let's have a small, low frame and let's try to move him off our legs. You see how far back our legs are?
This is just after he reared. I went back and got the halter and did the respect. And I'm struggling with the one-sided flexing in motion.
Well, the flexing in motion on one side is not going to be a problem for you because I know how persistent you are. So you are just going to stick with it and keep picking away at him. When it comes to that rear and that backup, whenever we are, oh, nope. There we go. Whenever we are getting that backup, it's not uncommon for the horses to kind of get light in the front end. We keep the frame small, we keep our hands low, and we try to get that motion out of our feet. Our hands are really only there if they try to go forward. But I really believe tomorrow when you go out and you completely shut it down, when you say, hey, whenever I ask you to back, we're going to back and nothing else. We're not going to go forward. We're not going to canter off from here. We're simply going to go back, stop, stand still. Back, stop, stand still. So he's getting in that mindset of backing. I just think your back and your forward kind of got mixed together. Then our hands got a little higher. And I think it was a mixture of things. I think if we keep it simple, if we lower the hands and we back with mostly our feet, that's going to help us a lot. All right, Miss Christine.
Is this Emrys?
Yes.
Okay, I scroll back up.
Working on that canter. Oh, we have a.
Okay. Michael, when you get to Emrys's video, can you tell me if he looks short-strided in the back end? I have a friend bring it up, and I'm trying to figure out if there's an actual problem or if he's just being a lazy turd about working. And it doesn't help, too, with him being on a hill.
Gosh. So, quite frankly, I had him whenever we were riding out there. This was one of our stops on our Northeast clinic tour, but he felt a little off riding. We sorted it out and got him working good, but he did feel a little off.
And he's crossfiring right now, too, so he might be compensating for something.
Right, and that's kind of going up and down the field where he should really be using himself. See how he just doesn't want to drive off of it? He's not just putting on it. Again, we were able to work it out through the bridle work and got him working by the end. But he felt a little off in the beginning. The only reason I didn't look into it further is because
you couldn't see it from being you were on him.
Well, and he sorted it out, like he cleaned it up.
Yeah.
So I probably would, if you have a friend that does body work, if you have somebody that does chiropractic work or something like that can check him out, and no harm, no foul. Maybe they say, oh, there's nothing wrong with him, he's a bum. Or maybe say, oh, there's something out here, let's work on this or work on that. but he did feel a little off, especially to one side, a little short stride.
Let's see. Oop, don't put me back in it. Stop it.
right.
Stop.
Let's finish up these
The fun
questions.
game. All right, let me scroll back down, see what else we have. Lori said, I need to go. My husband needs me, but thank you so much for all your help. You guys are awesome. Diane's going to send a video of Shazam.
Perfect.
Barb said, I felt like I had my hands too high.
Yeah, I think it was just a mix of things. I think it was the gray of going back and forward at the same time, and he didn't know if he's supposed to go back or go forward. And he's thinking forward, you're thinking back, and the mix of that kind of goes up. Very common in the beginning when you're first learning how to put that maneuver on horses, that you'll have a horse get light in the front, and you'll have a horse pop up. Try not to take it personal, and just try to keep your hands low, small box, and try to use mostly your legs. And only catch him if he goes forward. Instead of backing with your hands, try to only catch him if he goes forward. If there's anything else I would suggest is when after backing, don't go straight forward again. Either stand and relax and do some more backing, or change directions, or wait for 3-4 minutes and then move off forward again. That's going to take that. He's going back, he's going forward, he's going back, he's going forward, he's going back. It's too much for him. He just needs to back. Relax. Back. Relax.
I think that's all I have for.
Awesome, guys. You guys have been great tonight. All you ladies out there working hard, working these ponies, good job. If you guys are out there and want to send videos in so we can help you with your ponies, we can help people across the country. We had people from all over in the videos tonight.
Christine said, did I have those draw reins rigged correctly for Emrys as well? Reminder, we're lunging because I'm not able to ride him with the injury at the time being.
Roger. Looked good. The draw reins looked fine. He wasn't overcompensated. He wasn't overdrawn. Looked just fine. Good lunging around, just get him soft and get him going. Give him to the bridle at the same time.
Awesome. What do you have coming up for the Academy students? We just hired an editor, which we're super excited about. So they're working on commercial stuff this week. So the next episode will go out again next week when it's not me having to edit, which is super exciting. Super pumped. Not about that life. And somebody who's passionate about videography and editing. So that's going to be super cool. What is the challenge they're working on right now?
Driving.
Is it super sketchy?
Only a wee bit.
I feel like it's horses that have driven their whole life and how they look is how I feel like some of these horses that we've just colt started that are less than 60 days under saddle. That's how they look going around pulling a cart because it's just so normal. Everything has been chaos from day one.
They're just moping around.
They're like,
okay.
Whatever. This
No
is
problem.
normal. Everything's fine.
It's been
This
very
is
cool.
great.
No, I'm so proud of these kids. These kids are doing a really good job. We just got another mentor through, a Western Pleasure mentor. All of them have spur stops on their horses. Very excited to see how the spur stops go. Also, I'm really excited to put this program together, this latest program on spur stopping, because it gives you breaks when you're bridleless versus stopping with the transmission. Kicking your feet off and having that horse back up, that's backing with the transmission. When you're sliding your horse, these spur stops that we've learned are really going to give you breaks and let you slow the horse down without stopping them, which is really awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great night, and I will see you next week for Horse Talk Live.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.